So today I'm finally putting the finishing touches on my mass drop alt build. At long last, we're going to finally see its final form. I'm going to start by taking the excellent Zilent V2 switches out of there, giving them a lube job, and then maybe hooking it up with a new set of keycaps. Shout out Taeha Types and Brandon Taylor. They both have excellent videos out there already on lubing switches. I'll link them both down in the description. You ready? Let's go.
This video is brought to you by Bookmark.com. Bookmark's a free website builder where you can create a professional-looking website with hosting in just a couple minutes by answering 7 simple questions. Bookmark's AI engine, Ada, literally builds your website right in front of your face in less than 2 minutes, and you can edit virtually every aspect of the page once it's complete. You can also upgrade to connect your existing domain and create an online store with e-commerce integration. It's awesome. Click the link in the description below or check them out at Bookmark.com.
Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching BadSeed Tech, and today we're going to be lubing what is easily my favorite switch, the Zilent V2s from Zeal PC. If you're not familiar with their line, you can check out the video I did before that kind of gives the rundown on everything they have. First up, we need to gather some supplies. And here's the thing, this is a very tedious process, so I grabbed some stuff that I thought would make my life a little easier. If you're doing this on the cheap, you can use a small flat blade screwdriver, but I went with the switch opener that I got on KeyBoss, and I really recommend this. It costs $20 plus shipping. It's made of CNC aluminum. I love it. You just push down, it pops open, and I take it the rest of the way with my fingertips so I don't wind up shooting springs all over the place. I like that this one is taller than some of the other ones out there because I can brace the rear of it against my palm and start to move really fast. Obviously, we're gonna need some lube. I went with Tribosis 3203 from SwitchMod. It's a low thickness and like 2 steps down from the 205 that I used on the stabs. You'll need a small paintbrush for this as well. I also opted to grab a mod or lube station from Zambumon. I hope I'm saying that right. I got it on Shapeways for like 31 bucks. I wound up liking and not liking this. I like that it's small enough to hold in your hand while you work with the other. Initially, I liked the idea that the stems would be placed in a way where you could paint all the sides, but in reality, they don't really fit in there in a way that inspires confidence, and they left nowhere to grab the lubed stem from. I basically used it as a place to hold the lower housing and reassemble the switch, and for that, it works really well. It's also nice because it allows you to work on like 10 at a time, so it kind of preserves your sanity as you go because this is insanely tedious work. To hold the stems, this $4 jeweler's claw is an absolute must-have. It lets you hold the stem while you paint the faces and then put it right back on top of the spring. Once you get your technique down, you don't even have to put your brush down when you place them. It's great. So as you hear everybody say, less is more. This is still a thicker lube than I was expecting. I had no idea what to expect, honestly, except that it was supposed to be thinner than 205, and it is, but it's not an oil. So we're gonna get a little on the brush, making sure to remove any of the excess against the lip of the vial. Then we're gonna brush the slider columns inside the base. Do each side a few strokes, and then once around the center column where the spring's gonna rest. The spring we're gonna brush some on either end and then rest it in the switch. Now we're gonna reload the brush, and again, no excess. We're gonna use less here. We hit the side of each stem, making sure you got a nice good coat from top to bottom, then the front and back face, and finally the bottom edges. For tactile switches, the standing advice is to not lube the legs because you risk losing some of that tactility there. The Zilents are already very tactile, so they might be able to sustain it, but it was my first time and I didn't want to risk it, so I opted to not do that. Once we have the springs and the stems mounted, we can go ahead and start putting the top housings back on. Legs go toward the copper leaf, logo goes over the copper leaf. That's the plan. Now we're gonna repeat it 65 times for this board. The other thing I liked about the lube station was that it also functions as like a switch tester when it's all done, so you can get an idea of sound and feel to see if anything needs to be addressed before you move on. Roughly 2 hours later, we're back in business, everything's reassembled, and here's how they sound. And they feel absolutely incredible. We took my favorite switches and made them feel and sound way better than they did before. I've never really been able to pick out what people were talking about when they would listen to a sound test and be like, oh, those switches sound scratchy. I can totally pick that out now. So the alt has now seen upgraded switches, lubed switches, and some mods to the stabs that made a huge difference in the feel. We're almost there, but it just needs a little something to make it pop. Boom, that's JTF Hyperfuse right there. Big kit too. Everything fits the alt great. I scored these on novel keys. That last column can always be a little bit tricky for the alt, and it was here as well, but I just went into QMK and swapped out the home and the delete key, and now the row height matchup is really pretty good. These are ABS, no backlight, but they look great. They're really smooth to the touch. They have a great sound. The only thing I really wasn't a big fan of here was the plastic trays. They made a great first impression, nice and durable, great for long-term storage, but it's a real pain to get the individual keys out of there. So is lubing your switches worth it? Yeah, it absolutely is. Is it a fun process? No, absolutely not. But the juice is worth the squeeze. I love the way my alt turned out. Probably gonna go back and lube those inks on the Prionic, and then next stop will be a full custom board. Looking at like probably mid-December for that. Links for everything we looked at here today, including switches, caps, and all the tools necessary down in the description. Any questions at all, hit me in the comments or drop by the Discord. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up.